Today I'm going to be making one of the most flavorful dishes that I know, and it also happens to have tofu as the headline ingredient. So whether you love tofu or you hate it, I think you're going to want to stick around to see this. Welcome back to No Recipes. I'm Mark Matsumoto, and I'm here to show you how to elevate your everyday meals, so hit subscribe so you don't miss out. Mapo Tofu is probably one of the best known Sichuan dishes in the world, but unfortunately it often gets lost in translation. Today I'm going to be showing you my version of this classic, featuring tons of flavorful aromatics, as well as spicy chili peppers and that tongue-tingling citrus flavor of Sichuan peppercorn. I'm also going to teach you a technique for keeping your tofu dishes from getting watery. So let's get started. Our ingredients today are soft tofu, chicken stock, potato starch, sesame oil, vegetable oil, Sichuan pepper, douchi or fermented black beans, doubanjiang, the white part of scallions, ginger, garlic, and ground pork. We're also going to use the green part of the scallions for garnish. For the best flavor, you want to grind the whole Sichuan peppercorns yourself. Just be sure to get rid of any black seeds like these before you grind them, as the seeds can give the powder a sandy texture. I'm being lazy today and using a spice grinder, but you can use a mortar and pestle as well. For the sauce, I'm going to add some potato starch and sesame oil to the chicken stock and give that a stir. This is going to get added to our Mapo Tofu at the very end. And now we've got a bit of knife work to do. I'm going to start with the tofu and just cut it up into bite-sized cubes. I like using a very soft tofu that's custardy in texture, so if you cut it too small, it's going to disintegrate when you add it to the sauce. For the white part of the scallions, the best way to mince them is to cut a slit down the center, which lets you open them up and flatten the layers into sheets. Then I'm going to slice those sheets into thin threads. Now I'm just going to turn those threads 90 degrees and mince them up. For the garlic, I usually start by cutting slits into the cloves on 2 axes and then mincing them on the 3rd axis. Don't worry if you don't get them evenly minced on the first go. You can just go back over them like this. For the ginger, I slice them into thin coins against the grain. Then I julienne the slices. And finally, I can mince those strips up into nice small pieces of ginger. Are you still with me? Hang in there because we're almost done. For the garnish, I'm just gonna chop up the green parts of the scallions. Finally, you want to mince up the douchi so you don't end up biting down on a whole salty bean. Now here's my trick to keep tofu from watering down your stir fries. I just blanch it in some well-salted water. This not only seasons the tofu, it forces out excess water, firming up the blocks and keeping anything you cook it with from getting watery. Now we're just gonna let that come back up to a boil. Once you've let it boil for about a minute, remove the tofu from the water with a slotted spoon. Okay, our prep's finally done, so let's start stir frying. I'm gonna add some oil, douchi, and the Sichuan pepper to a pan over high heat, and we're gonna give that a stir. Then I'm gonna add the doubanjiang. This is gonna release a bunch of capsaicin into the air, which is like getting hit with pepper spray, so make sure your ventilation is going full bore. Next, I'm gonna add the scallions, garlic, and ginger. Now we're just gonna stir fry this until the aromatics start to caramelize. This is where the Mapo Tofu gets most of its flavor from, so don't rush it. Now we just need to add the pork and stir fry it while crumbling it up. When the meat is cooked, give the chicken stock mixture a stir and add that into the pan. Finally, we're gonna add the tofu and toss that together. You can use a spatula to help you out, but you need to be very gentle or the tofu is just gonna fall apart. Now we're just gonna let this simmer for a few minutes until the sauce is nice and thick and coating every piece of tofu. Oh, that smells so good. Let's get this into a plate so I can have some lunch. I like garnishing my Mapo Tofu with some extra Sichuan pepper sprinkled on top, and then I garnish it with the green parts of the scallions. With the fiery meat sauce and that tongue-tingling taste of the Sichuan pepper draping each cube of custardy tofu, this is hands down my favorite tofu dish. Because most of the flavor comes from the aromatics and douchi, you can easily make this vegan by swapping in vegetable stock and minced shiitake mushrooms for the meat. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see me make this plant-based. Like all stir fries, Mapo Tofu does require a bit of prep work. But once you've cleared that hurdle, the stir fry comes together in a matter of minutes, so I hope you'll give it a try. If you enjoyed this, please support us by giving this a big thumbs up. And if you have friends that love spicy food, send them a link to this video so they can try this at home too. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. All right, I'm gonna go get a big old pile of rice and pour this Mapo Tofu all over it. But I'll catch you in the next one. Check us out on Instagram at No Recipes.